Okay, so I've alluded to this before, and you may have even heard this before, but the three-act play that we know and love, we were taught this in middle school, even elementary school, I think. This is actually kind of four acts, at least in, the way that I do it and the way that a lot of writers that I've talked to do it. If we leave it three acts, what do we get? We get 100% of the book is kind of split into 33.33 repeating. Is that proper math? I don't know about the repeating part. 33% of the book is the beginning, 33% is the middle, 33% is the end. I'm going to tell you right now that Freytag's pyramid style of breaking this thing up, it doesn't work super well for genre fiction because it makes the beginning way too long and it makes the end way too long. All that denouement we talked about, it's going to get real boring if we keep going and saying, oh, well, this and that, and then they kissed and they kissed again. And then, we just need to get in and get out quickly. And the middle is where that fun and games and the bad guys close in. That's the promise of the premise stuff. So I'm getting ahead of myself. But if you think of the three-act play as actually four acts, it's going to make this a lot easier. So the first 25% is Act 1. In this, the readers are introduced to our world. Fantasy, this is really important. We have to set the rules, the boundaries, the magic. We have to establish some of that. We get to meet the hero and usually the villain. If we don't meet the villain, we at least see the antagonist kind of behind the scenes, right? So we can see the machinations of Voldemort, right? He who shall not be named, at the beginning 25% of that book. And we don't actually meet him, I don't think, until later. Much later. And so that's fine. We just need to know about that world. We need to kind of experience that. But if we do too much of it, if we do 30% or more, it feels like too much. So I usually keep this to 20 to 25%. Act 2, this first part of Act 2 is the reactive part. Our main character and their team, they're running away. I like to think of this as running away from the problem. They've had the inciting incident, they've committed to the problem, but they're still just reacting to that problem. They're still just reacting to the big, scary horseback, what are they called in Lord of the Rings, where they ride? Some of you nerds probably know what I'm talking about, right? They're reacting to that. Elijah Wood's running away from horses. I'm not a fantasy guy, sorry everybody. I'm trying to figure out what's going on. The second half of Act 2, so this is the 50 to 75% mark of our book. This is the proactive scene where our main character and the team, they're finally chasing toward something. So instead of running away from it, they're chasing something. They're running toward something. They're making a plan. Guess what? It's not going to work, but they're making a plan. That's good. We like the plan. We like to see them taking some agency, right? And this all ends with their plan failing and the all is lost scenes, with the culmination being the woe is me scene. Your main character's heart is just broken. Right. And then finally, the Act 3, or another, Part 4, I guess, is our main character and friends, their team, put their heads together and they're just like, you know what, damn it, we're going to make this work. We're going to try to win the day. And they do in most books. Typically, it doesn't have to be a happily ever after. Somebody may die along the way, but the problem has been solved. And all that happens in Act 3. So I've broken this down so you can kind of see it. Throughout this, I've kept the same slide design so you can see where we are at a glance. Act 3 will sometimes have a 4 next to it because, it's the fourth part of the structure. So I hope that all makes sense. I just wanted to break it down and show you what I'm talking about here.